Okay.
There we go.
This is the June 25th, 2021 meeting of the Open Space Committee. We went into executive session at, Carol, what time did we go in?
8:55.
At 8:55, and we are now out of executive session and entering our regular session. Okay, Jim? Okay, stick with me, don't leave me. Okay. We take a roll call to close executive session and open regular session. Kathy?
We already did that.
We already did that.
Oh, we
already
did
did that.
Oh,
Yeah.
We already closed executive session. and We
Okay.
don't need a roll call vote to
Okay.
open
All right.
regular session.
First on the agenda, welcome guests. Mr. Jim Atkinson has joined us, and he will be joining us as a new member of our committee. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
We welcome you, and we certainly will appreciate your expertise and your knowledge. Thank you for agreeing to join us.
Excuse me, Elaine, for the members who aren't familiar with me, do you want me to just
Yes,
run
just a
through my
brief.
background
Yeah.
very quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll start at the beginning. I was born in Jersey City, New Jersey. And, then the family moved to suburban Connecticut, but I came to Massachusetts to go to college and basically have stayed in Massachusetts. My educational background is I have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Worcester Polytechnic Institute, a master's degree in city from the University of Rhode Island, and a law degree from New England School of Law. My predominant professional career was in commercial real estate law. I worked for various public agencies in Boston, including the Massachusetts Port Authority, the MBTA, and most recently, the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority. I retired 8 years ago and moved to my home in South Harwich and have been a very happy and satisfied resident of the town of Harwich for the past 8 years.
Thank you very much, Jim. Wow. Wonderful credentials. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we open the doors, because we may have other people who are, who would like to join us and don't know we're out of executive session.
Oh,
Also, I think
like
somebody
Art.
is on webinar.
Oh, yeah, PG.
Peggy, somebody arrived.
Okay, Peggy, would you like to tell us who you are and what you're interested in our meeting today? Can she not hear me?
Her microphone's on, and everything seems to be working fine, so
Okay.
maybe she chooses not to attend. Was she on your agenda?
No. No.
She could just be a viewer member of the public.
Okay, all right. Alyssa?
Melissa Millette, Assistant Conservation Agent, standing in for Amy.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your last name on the secretary.
Millette, M-I-L-L-E-T-T.
Thank you.
And Art? Thank you. Okay, I would like to approve the minutes from May 21st, 2021. Did everybody get the minutes? I know I-
Third revision.
Yes.
And I,
Distracted
and
yesterday.
I apologize, Carol. When you called me, I was out the door and didn't get home till later that night, so I had no time to.
It was last
I
minute.
make a
Sorry.
motion to accept the minutes of May 21st, 21.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I have update on Judah Eldridge property.
You want me to give that?
Yes, Kathy, if you could.
okay.
Before you
Yes.
update us, can you tell us where it is? Because I wasn't.
Okay, I'll give you a little
Yeah.
blurb, okay? So, 2017, I believe, this property was brought before this committee, It's a 24-acre parcel off of Hawks Nest Road. And I believe you were probably living in town at the time that this property actually came before the voters the year before. It was a potential wastewater discharge site or something to that effect. And then it was passed at town meeting, but then it failed at the ballot. So brought to our attention for potential preservation. It's a parcel that has, or at least we've been told, that it has over 300 heirs, the parcel. And it's a long rectangular parcel that actually is split in five long rectangular pieces. One is on the road, the rest are obviously locked at this time. Anyway, it was brought to this committee to put together with a CPA application. And this committee did not support the application, which was a little bit of a problem for some other people, but ultimately it passed through the CPC committee, I think with a vote 4-3 or 5-2 or something like that. And it went to town meeting and it passed. And there is a stipulation of the Community Preservation Committee that we like the funds to be used within like a 3-year period if possible. And nothing has happened with this parcel. So it was voted 2018 by town meeting, and hence it's 2021 now, and nothing has happened. So the board chairperson of the Community Preservation Committee brought it to the CPC and asked that they think about rescinding the funds. More based on the fact that procedurally at the time, and this is one of the reasons why this committee didn't support it, was that not that they weren't in favor of preserving the 24 acres, but that procedurally it was publicly that the purchase price of $360,000 was the CPC, the funds were going to be used to offset the tax lien of $360,000. And there were many people that didn't feel that using CPA funds, which are basically taxpayer funds, to pay a tax lien, appropriate way to go about this. Other ways to secure this land. At the time, I think they were going to go through eminent domain. Is that correct, Dave?
Well, normally you take it under tax, you take it under a tax taking.
Tax
Which
taking.
eliminates the debt.
Right.
And then the town can do eminent domain against itself, was my understanding.
Okay.
That clears the title to it.
Okay.
Because the title is so fuzzy right now. And only the
Right.
town can do those things.
Right.
Eminent domain does
Right.
the title, so.
And, you know, we had legal counsel come before us at CPC to explain the procedure, et cetera, et cetera. And actually, I will say that on town meeting floor, thanks to a great stance taken by Dave, it almost didn't pass it on town meeting floor, but it did. So anyway, here we are 3.5 years later, and it's before the committee to rescind the funds. We discussed it in executive session. Procedurally, the coalition, the Community Preservation Coalition, which is the state organization that manages the CPA Trust Fund, they think it's a slippery slope to use CPA funds to pay off a tax lien. Anyway, we talked about it in executive session, took a vote, and then we went the following regular session and had it public. And the selectmen's, one of the Board of Selectmen was there, and they suggested that we change our stance, okay? So the committee ultimately gave them a couple of more months to kind of come up with a plan to see how they would proceed. I will say that some of the discussion in public revolved around the fact that, you know, the 24 acres at $360,000 was a great purchase, about $15,000 an acre, and that given today's environment, if we had to start all over again, And because there's so much development going on, that the appraisal price would probably shoot up drastically. And that it would be a real disservice to the town to lose this property. So it's consideration again, and I do believe there have been some major changes of heart. So I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to move forward in the selectmen's, in their jurisdiction for the time being, at least for another year or two.
So it was bought, I mean, the town meeting authorization was for it to be acquired for open space?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So it can't be used for,
No.
under the current authorization, it can't be used
No.
for something else?
no.
Okay.
If they took it with tax, they could. They would have that option.
Mhm.
They did it as a tax write-off.
So does the CPC have this fund set aside? I mean, they
Yep,
have-
they're set aside,
It's just
yes.
set aside.
They're set
Yeah.
aside,
Okay.
correct.
So they haven't done all the research they need for the
The town has not.
town has not.
Thank you.
I hope that was clear. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Is there any deadline? Is there any time? You said a
Well, we
couple
gave them
months.
2 months at the last month's meeting.
Okay, so they have
So
another month.
probably in August, it will come up for discussion. And they may or may not decide to rescind the funds, or we may give them an extension, year or two, depending upon what the committee decides.
And
Okay.
who is the them?
Board of
The
Selectmen,
Board of,
correct.
okay, all right.
Any other questions? Everybody good? Good? Okay. Mike, any comment on that?
I think Kathy did a great job of explaining.
Yep, I agree. All right. Okay, I have on here update on Hinckley's Pond property, but I think everybody has read the papers and pretty much knows what's happened there. The understanding is that Harwich Conservation Trust will do fundraising to purchase the property. So the town is no longer involved. So that's, and we wish you well, Michael, and we hope all the people who stood up at town meeting in support of this will also stand up with a check in their hands to help with the fundraising, because I know they are very passionate about saving this property. Hopefully they turn that passion into cash. Thank you. New property evaluation form. Carol has done a good job, and she's pulled out all the forms that we've ever had or used. And as I've said to her, what we are trying to do is redo our, for those of you that don't know, when a property does come to us, we had an evaluation form, and we would go, members of the committee would go and actually walk the property. And then we would go through the checklist of all the things about whether it would be suitable for housing or conservation or whatever, whatever the case may be. And then going through that form, we would come to a decision about what recommendation to make to the Board of Selectmen for the use of this property. There are 2 or 3 forms that have kind of floated around, and we thought that this was a time maybe to enhance some of those, make another form. But to bring in some more current things that we need to consider. But as I said, with having remote meetings, I mean, it's hard to do something like that remotely, going back and forth on the computer. What really has to be done is 2 or 3 of us have to sit down at a table with the forms and work it out and come up with something. So, Carol, I would be glad to work with you to meet up. Anybody else wants to join us?
I will, since I
Kathy?
did the,
Yeah, okay. So 3 of us, I mean, we can meet.
Yeah.
My house, the library, wherever, but we
Sure.
will set something
Okay.
up and we will, because as the new year starts, we should probably have something.
Yeah.
And then we will
Soon as
bring it,
possible,
whatever
I would
we come
say.
up with, we'll bring back to this committee, and everybody can comment or changes, and we will come up with a final evaluation form that we feel meets the current standards. And thank you, Kathy and Karen. Don't really have new business, but just like to acknowledge James Donovan, who is, his term on our committee ends the 30th of June. Jim was not able to join us today. He really wanted to, but work, which has been a problem that he's had with it. And of course, work comes first. He's very busy with work and is not able to committee. But I would just like, I did privately acknowledge his support to him, but I would just like to say publicly that we appreciate James and his expertise, his knowledge, and his passion for these properties. He really, was an asset to this committee, and I'm sorry that he's not able to continue with us, but, sometime in the future, he said that if things change in his situation, and he may just keep in touch with us anyways to see what's going on and whatever. So, I would like to thank Jim for his participation and for. Nominate and vote a member to represent Rios on the Community Preservation Committee.
You're currently serving in.
I
I- my-
nominate
I
Kathy
was-
Green.
I was appointed in James' place in November,
Uh-huh.
just for a short term until June 30th. So
This would be a new
this
term.
committee needs to decide who they want as their representative moving forward.
Are you willing to continue
I
to
am
serve?
willing, but there might be somebody else who might want to
Yeah,
do the job.
anybody
I was gonna ask
interested?
Kathy if she was still willing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could beat to the punch.
Anyone else? No? No?
I think having an experienced person doing it is very,
Well,
very helpful.
and as proven by your explanation you just gave us about the Judah Eldridge project. So, yes, Kathy, we would love to have you be our representative. on
Okay, I'm
CPC.
willing.
I move that Kathy be our nominee to the.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Aye, aye, aye.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Do you think, though, that the clerk might need to send notification to the town clerk's office that that's what we've decided?
Yes.
okay.
All right.
And I know the chair of the committee of CPC will be glad to see you're back. I have on here a new member, but of course, we've already acknowledged Mr. Atkinson. Thank you. Melissa, is there anything you would like to share with us today from Conservation Commission? No? Well, thank you for joining us today, anyways, and keep us in touch. Mr. Bowden, anything from Housing Committee?
No. Everything you want to know is in the newspaper.
Now, I know there was Affordable Housing Trust meeting yesterday, but I wasn't able to watch it, so I don't, did you
Yeah, I did.
catch it? Anything interesting?
Apparently, they're about ready to, pull the trigger on that property.
Okay.
They might have already done it yesterday.
I don't think everybody knows what property you're talking about.
I don't think it's been published yet. I don't think it's been
It's
publicized
been
yet,
in the
has it?
paper.
Named?
Marceline,
Oh,
it's on the
okay.
front
All
page
right, I
of the
wasn't sure.
Chronicle.
Yeah, it was in
Yeah.
the
Didn't want to jump the gun.
No, it's on the front page of the Chronicle. Came yesterday, yeah,
It came out, Tuesday night was a planning board meeting,
yes,
and they presented the
right,
plan.
yeah. So it is public information now.
My problem is I get the Chatham edition.
I'm sorry,
Different.
I know it is.
4.1.
it's
I think there's, 3 buildable lots and another lot that's
I didn't get into it yet.
just there. Yeah, okay.
Is that in Six Ponds District?
Part of it is, yes.
But it's, they're,
Not all of it.
Highway you do.
Okay.
there are two zones within the Six Ponds area.
Yeah.
And the ones that are right along the roads that form the boundary of
Yeah.
the district have much less restrictive
Okay.
zoning. Yeah,
Yeah.
so excellent location for some affordable housing. It's high, dry land. You know, it's got good access to services and stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like a really smart place to do it.
Does the community, or the bus line go by that at all? Or no? I don't
The
think.
bus does come
I
down
think the
Queen Anne
closest
Road.
would be Oak Street.
Times.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't think every time I drive on Oak Street, I see that bus, I swear. And I drive on Oak Street every day, and the bus, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
active.
It's down Oak Street, it's down
Yeah.
Queen Anne, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't, that's not to say the bus service can't change and
Yeah.
add a route if there's a
I know.
large
right.
Yeah,
development.
and it's not very
Close.
far from there either.
Right.
I mean, the
Does
Queen
it
Anne
have
Road,
frontage on Queen Anne?
it does,
Yes.
yeah.
It's the property on Queen Anne Road just before 124. There's a house on the corner, but just before that, there's actually a real estate
There's a
sign
real
in the
estate sign
ground there
there.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an L-shaped lot then? 4 acres?
I think,
Three Marcelin lots, you said 3.
Yeah, but my understanding is it faces 124.
I think the official access is on 124. And-
There's a house on there now,
Yeah.
and it's a dump truck full of stuff that's been there since I was in here. I had to go through the dump,
Yeah, it's been there at least 30 years, yeah.
the sector was a dump.
But does it curl back around to Queen Anne is what,
The shape of it, I'm not.
okay, all right.
It does, I
think
mean,
there is a
that
little-
does come down
Yeah.
to Queen Anne Road. I'm not clear, though, whether they're selling all of that for this. They may have sold that Queen Anne frontage for a different purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
At the planning, I believe, I shouldn't say, but I believe at the planning board meeting, there was a discussion about the boundaries. Some of the property lines were in question, but I think they've resolved with the owners, the current owners, to,
They must have just had it surveyed, because I drove by it yesterday, and
Oh,
there were monuments that have been put in, so.
oh, okay,
I think
so
any
they're
boundaries
working
are-
that out. All right, well, that will be another Affordable Housing Trust project to watch. All right, I just want, Kathy, I just wanted to say, I did get the notice about the CPC meeting.
I was just going to talk about it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make you aware that the annual public meeting of the Community Preservation Committee is scheduled for July 15th, 2021, 6 PM in the Griffin Room. And it's really important that many interested parties as possible from the community come and express, sort of their concerns, needs, wants that they see as things that are possible, applications for CPA funding. We need to hear from people. For example, if somebody in town feels like we need to preserve space, then they should come forward and, express that opinion. If they feel like we need more affordable housing, et cetera, et cetera. This is the place to express it so that we can sort of prioritize where the funds go.
when is the meeting?
It's July 15th.
I'll forward that email to
Yeah, July
everybody that-
15th, 2021, 6 PM here in the Griffin Room.
Yeah.
And we welcome anybody who wants to step forward and express what they see as their needs and wants for the community. By community participation that we can continue to keep Harwich, as vibrant and, doing as well as it can do for its
And they're
community.
also going to do an explanation of the process of applying and all that. That was my understanding, no?
I don't know that because
Oh, okay.
typically this is for that purpose, but they may, I don't know.
Yeah,
Typically, that's not really the place for it.
okay, I just thought I saw that said they were going to
Yeah,
talk
I don't
about-
know about that.
Okay,
so.
all right, but I will forward everyone the email with that, and it is a public notice. I think it was in
Yes,
the paper,
it was in the
too.
paper, sure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in the paper, and it's on the website.
And on Channel 18,
It's on 18.
I myself was interviewed.
Yeah, oh,
Oh, great. Yay.
What's Peggy's last name for my, what's? can you-
Yeah, there have been plenty of years we've had no participation,
he is a boy.
including anyone from the town. Of which I would say that 90% of the applications come from within the town, commissions,
Yeah.
et cetera, boards. But we've had, many years, we've had nobody come to offer public opinion, which is a shame, so,
Well, I think I'll be here.
good,
Yeah,
good,
I think,
more the merrier.
yep. Well, if more than
Yeah, I was gonna.
3 of
mention
us decide to come,
Oh,
yeah,
so.
yeah, we need to watch that.
okay.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. Yeah,
Sure.
that's good information. All right. Committee members' reports. No? Dave, no?
Nothing.
Nothing going on? Marcia, nothing? Oh, I wanted to ask you, July 1st is still the date scheduled for the closing on that property, Cherry?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Okay. If you can keep an eye and let us know, because at that point, when that's concluded, then Carol will be able to release some of the minutes from past meetings that might have, that were in executive session, that might have related to that property.
I'll
Because
check in with you next meeting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, so. and-
Marcia, were you involved in that?
No, I'm just a real estate broker. So I was kind of,
She was following it for us as a committee.
Yeah,
just for
Yeah.
yeah.
information
So
purposes.
when is it, July?
July 1st?
Yeah. Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday,
July 1st, okay.
yeah. So we'll see how, that was a long ride, too.
Yeah, it was an
That
unfortunate
property.
loss on our part.
Yeah.
It's a big loss.
Well, it is what it is. Kathy, anything other than what you've
I
already?
think I've spoken enough.
Never enough. Margot, anything to share with us? No, so you'll let us know when you've set up a meeting?
Mike, I think, is.
Okay.
trying to set something
All
up.
right. Carol, anything on your
No,
part?
I think you
Anything you
covered it
need
all.
from us? You're doing a great job with these minutes. Carol,
Thanks.
thank you so much. And Marcia, nothing going on in your world?
Can I pass out this list of it's for committee members so that I can have can I give it to Elaine, your name, your phone number, and your email address? Get you the.
Updated.
I
Okay.
have yours.
And can you make sure you get Jim, make sure
Yeah.
Carol has your contact
So I
information?
can get you the minutes and all.
Yeah.
You have mine already? Or do you want me to
Yeah,
put it on
I don't
here?
have your phone.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just fill it out. and I'll-
Okay, all right. If there's nothing else, take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.